Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Late Night Show with Dr. Kojo. I am your host, Kojo, checking in from what was a sunny day here in Los Angeles, California. We have a very exciting topic that I want to talk about today. But before we get to the topic, I just want to mention that we finally got the Discord server up and running. So, one of the moderators in a second will drop the link in here, and you all can go ahead and join the Discord so we can start building the family up. But as we do every single time when we do the live stream, we begin by you all introducing yourself in the chat. Let me know what your name is and where you're checking in from. We got Glenn Woolno. Glenn, what's going on? We got Renzi, what's up? We got Anthony from the Philippines. We got Martine. Good morning. Yeah, it's 15 hours ahead of the Philippines. Good morning. How you doing? I got a question. Hold on to that question, Leah, but do bring it back in a second. Danielle here. What's up? Elias, first time here. Nice to have you here. We got somebody from Ohio. Marie. What's up, Marie? We got Melissa from Williamston, North Carolina, Philippines, New York, NorCal, Connecticut, Washington, D.C., Alabama, Indiana, West Virginia, Colorado. All right. It's so nice to see you all tonight. And we're going to talk about 3 things that worsen your mental health. All right. And I wrote them on my phone, and I'm going to start off by typing the first one in here. But like I said, we finally got the Discord server going. So Discord is a platform that I'm still learning how to work the thing, but it's going to allow us to all stay in touch, and hopefully you all get in a Discord server and you meet friends, and you meet other people who could support you on your mental health journey. Wow, Australia. Wow, Glenn, I appreciate you, my guy. And even though I'm here in LA, and I moved to LA to get my content, to reach more people. Like, there's people outside the states that are tuning in, and that's super exciting. So I do appreciate you all, Glenn, and everybody else. All right. So the very first thing that worsens your mental health, right? And as I was making this list, I wanted to, I didn't want to pick the generic things. I wanted to be as transparent as possible. And I wanted to give you all things that are actually going to help you out, right? So we're going to keep it super real, starting with number 1. So 3 things that can worsen your mental health, right? Number 1, let's get into it. And then let me explain. Lack of resources, right? We're talking about finances, and we're talking about housing. So, I can only speak for the United States of America because I live in America, right? I don't know how things work in the UK with the NHS, or I don't know how things work in Australia, or, outside the US. But in the United States, a lot of things come down to the haves and the have-nots, right? Either you have it or either you don't, right? And if you have, a lot of money or disposable income, the more resources you have, the better your healthcare outcomes are. And I hate to say that, but it's the truth. I don't want to sit up here and lie to you all, and there's actually a study that I saw not too long ago, and I wasn't surprised by it, but in the study, they were saying that they were looking at people who were experiencing depression, right? Like major depressive disorder, right? So they were looking at people who had been experiencing depression, and the study found out, right, that people who did not have adequate housing, right, and adequate resources in the form of money, they struggled to bounce back from depression, right? Those who had resources actually did better. So, where I took from that, it was, oh, wow. So me not having resources and being depressed means that I may stay depressed longer because I don't have the resources, right? So that's why we do these live streams. That's why we look for interesting ways to put out the information, right? Whether it's a short film that I'm putting out or it's a real, we have to, as healthcare providers, I believe that it's our duty, for those of us who enjoy using the internet, it's our duty to disseminate the information, to put it out there, because not having resources, not having money, not having adequate housing, not having these things, it puts you behind the 8 ball. Like, you just don't stand as good a chance as somebody who has those resources, right? So how do we make things more equitable, right? And, at least on my end, talking about it, I would say is a good first step. Leilani, what's going on? Shout out to Leilani. She's one of the moderators. And Ashley says, I'm so glad, though. And Kodo, you did say to let you know how it goes. The ADHD and autism evaluation was through. I got the positive diagnosis. Let's go ahead and give Ashley a love of the show. She went out and sought professional help, and she was able to get a formal diagnosis. I love the show goes out to Ashley. She gets the first love the show. And Trish says, well, yeah, money affects every aspect of life. It's a stressor, which triggers a lot. Yes, Trish, money is a big stressor, right? And I think sometimes you will have people who may gaslight you and say, oh, it's not about money, or everybody gets the same care. That's just not true. Like, if you have money in this country, I'm sure it's similar in other countries, but if you have money, you're going to get resources faster. Like, if you have money and you want an ADHD diagnosis, like, you'll get resources faster, you'll get meds faster, you'll get therapy faster, because you just have the resources, right? So we have to figure out how to make it equitable for those who do not have, disposable income just lying around, right? And even also with uncertainty, like not knowing where your next paycheck is coming from, that's a certain level of, that's a certain type of anxiety, which if it persists for too long, it can be hurtful for you. And Jacqueline says, made sure to have my positive outlook today. Hey, Jacqueline, that deserves the love of the show. And I'll explain that in a second. So on a live stream earlier this week, I challenged one of the people who came in here, Ross, and I challenged him to say, to wake up on Tuesday morning and say, all right, I want the universe to show me something positive today. Like, I want to have a positive day, and I know it's gonna be positive, so I'm waiting to see what happens. And Jacqueline took that a step further, right? Amber says, money conversations, like my number one trigger. Yeah. Key says, Medicaid recipients will not get adequate help. Yeah, it's tough. Does resources include health insurance? So Sierra, I didn't mean health insurance when I said resources, but check this out. For those of us who live in the U.S., we live in a country where health insurance is tied to your employment, right? What if you have a job that you hate and you're like, all right, I'm about to quit this job next week, Friday. As soon as I work these 2 weeks and I get my check for that next pay period, I'm quitting this job, right? And then you think to yourself, oh, I can't quit the job because I'm going to lose my health insurance, right? So, resources, it does include health insurance, right? But if you're not employed, do you have health insurance? I mean, I'm sure some people do, but like a lot of times health insurance comes with employment, right? Which makes it tricky for those people who are unemployed. Is worse for immigrants. Ooh, yeah, for immigrant mental health, that's a conversation we definitely have to have one day. We definitely have to have it one day. And let's point out Cobra. What do you mean by Cobra? I'm not sure by Cobra. All right, so I'm dropping in the second thing that is could worsen your mental health, right? Isolation. Isolation can worsen your mental health, right? Like, it's not good to be by yourself like all the time, right? Like, we do need time to be by ourselves and to to de-stress and relax and just shoot the breeze and just relax, right? But being by yourself for long periods of time is not a healthy thing. Like, as human beings, we're social beings. We're supposed to be with other people, right? And even if you're not with anybody physically, I do believe that like a live stream like this is a social type of activity, right? You got 417 people watching live right now, not including the thousands of people who will watch after the fact, right? So, but it is different when you're on live, because like if you're watching like right now, like we're actually like right here present in this moment on this live stream, right? And Miriam says, I hate people. So Miriam, I get this, right? And you may not have the energy to be around people constantly, but we do need some form of interaction with people. We do need some form of interaction with people, and however which way you get it, doesn't matter to me, but we do need to be around people. So Marion, maybe you don't like being social, but maybe you have some friends that you enjoy hanging out with, or maybe you like spending time with your girlfriends, or your boyfriend, or your parent, or or your partner, or just whoever you enjoy spending time with, right? But if you do enjoy spending time with people, I would say it is important to tap into that, because we're not meant to be by ourselves. Like, people who are in a loving relationship. Like they still feel those types of people. They you'll do better, just mentally and socially because you have that interaction with other people. And Marilu says that's so hard because when you're depressed, you want to be alone. Right. So that's why I did the last stream earlier on how to help out a friend who's depressed. Because if you are depressed, you're right. The likelihood is that you want to be by yourself. I hear a beeping noise. Where's this beeping noise coming from? Where's this beeping noise coming from? Y'all let me know if y'all hear that beeping noise. I don't know where it's coming from. Hold on, let me hear for a second. Where's beeping noise coming from? Did y'all hear that? Where's beeping noise coming from? This is funny. I don't know where it's coming from. Discord. Oh, Mickey Ficky. Thank you so much. All right. So I'm gonna quit the Discord on my computer and then I'll just I didn't know where I thought I was losing my mind. I'm like, no, Melanie, this was a true ADHD nightmare. Like I posted videos about how sometimes with ADHD, same thing goes with some people with autism or just people who, struggle with sensory overload. Like the beeping noises or like the chewing sounds, like it makes me want to rip my hair. I don't have that much hair, but it makes me want to rip the little hair I have out. Okay. All right. So the Discord, it was a Discord, and I took it off. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody who helped me out with that. Because I was like, what's going on? I'm like, somebody's playing a trick on me. Okay. All right. Answers just got diagnosed today with ADHD, anxiety, and PTSD. And welcome to the community. And, you should give yourself a round of applause for going to get help because it's difficult to even put yourself in a position to where you go get that diagnosis. So let's all support Ann and give Ann another love of the show. All right. Back to the comments. Tanaya from Montana, depression and anxiety. I'm not social either, but I decided to help a church feeding the youth group once a week. All right. So Tanaya, after you did this, how did you feel? I'm sure you felt a little bit better, right? Because when you interact with people, keep in mind it would be helpful to have people that you actually like, right? Nothing is worse than being forced to interact with a group of people that you like. If you don't want to be there, then it's just the worst, right? You're thinking to yourself, "Oh, I should have drove myself. I didn't want to come to this hang out with these people," right? So you do want to have people that you enjoy being around. So if you like this live stream or you like the Discord, let's start there, right? Let's start there. But thank you so much to the people who told me that it was Discord, but whoever's like commenting in the Discord, keep commenting. Let's keep growing up the community. I didn't know that's what the sounds like, but now I know. April says, I need to isolate during a manic episode. That's interesting. Well, thank you for sharing, and that's your experience. So like, I definitely recognize that. Normally I hear people saying that they isolate during like a depressive episode, and when they're manic, that's when they're like overly energetic and they're out and about. But this is neat. I didn't, it's good to know that sometimes it's not just like a one size fits all. Sean says, I use isolation as a way to decompress and reset. I do it way too much. And being a husband and father, I constantly have to remind myself to interact and stay engaged. Finding a balance between the two is a struggle for me. So let me talk about this for a second. We will get to the third thing that can worsen your mental health, but let me talk about this for a second while I have it up here. It's really easy so first of all, with isolation, it's easy to isolate. It's very easy to isolate. Like, think about why you isolate, because you're overwhelmed, you're stressed, and you just need a break, right? And with all of the stimuli that we can get from cell phones and from the TV and from substances, alcohol or marijuana or just whatever, right? A lot of people don't find a need to go out there and interact with people because they're like, all right, I can be at home by myself and take care of things by myself. And it is good to be self-sufficient and to be by yourself sometimes, right? But like Sean is saying here, sometimes we isolate way too much, and you have to remind yourself to stay engaged. And finding a balance is difficult. And Sean, real quick, while I have this here, one thing that's been helpful for me, I forgot where I got the tip, but I try and do things where I try to do things where things that forced me to go somewhere on a consistent basis, right? So when I first moved to LA, and I didn't have that many friends, right? And I was like super homesick and missing my family. Like I would go to this certain restaurant like once or twice a week, right? And then I got to know like the servers there and the people who work there. You know, I would come in, I'm like, oh, is Clarissa working today? Like, cause I knew everybody, and it helped me out because I knew that all right, on Tuesdays I go to this restaurant in Studio City, and that's just what I do. You know, and it gave me some sort of a routine, and it forced me to I have to actually like go out and talk to people even when I didn't feel like it, you know. And there's a funny thing about that. Whenever I would force myself to go out and be social when I didn't want to, I actually ended up having a really good time, and I met some really cool people, you know. So I do want to say that. Uh, all right. Let me see. What if you lost everything, isolated, and slept for over a year without showering or anything? Well, Tony, then that was a past. Today is a new day. You know, so today start small. You know, you don't want to overdo it, right? Like you don't want to like go from isolating yourself to all of a sudden you're hanging out with everybody. No, you're gonna burn yourself out. So start small. Maybe start with this, right? Because there's 300 people on the live stream right now. You know, or maybe start with a community that you feel is supportive. I would say that's a really good start. And oh, sorry, I think I answered this question. Yeah, Aaron, start small. Start small. Don't don't book a trip to Mexico and try and like go meet a lot of people. Like start small over time and build from there, right? Build from there. Let me see. COVID. So John makes a really good point here. Hey Addie, let me just say that. Hey Addie. But John makes a really good point. COVID did make it hard to be social because with COVID, um, everything kind of moved to the digital world, right? Like we start even within psychiatry, we start to do telepsych, you know. So you'd be, or I was like I've treated patients who I've never met in my life, you know, but like I feel like I know them well because like we met through the computer screen or the phone screen. You know, people are doing Zoom meetings, you know, and even now with this right here, you know, with you know, this Oculus that I got from Facebook. Like you can put on this headset, right? And you can go into the metaverse and then you can be on Horizon and start talking to virtual friends, and you know, you can get to the point where you're not even leaving your house. And you know, I do enjoy this, and you know, like I'm still a big fan of this, right? I'm still a big fan of the Oculus and the PlayStations and things like that. You know, and with this Oculus, I would love to like maybe create like a world for people who like have sensory overload to put this thing on and like, you know, you can have some relief. So hopefully I can work with Facebook on that. But as much as I like this thing, as much as I love it, sometimes you have to put this down. You have to put down the remote. You got to put down the PlayStation controller, and you have to just walk outside and just talk to your neighbor. Anybody, just anything, you know, is going to be helpful, right? You know, there's a balance, right? You know, it's really difficult to have that balance, but like I do encourage getting out there and just talking to people. And yeah, it's been difficult. And Kenneth says, yeah, right. A VR live. Maybe we can do that. A VR live. So Jennifer, yes, yeah. I had somebody ask a similar question, and I know with PCOS, you know, I'm not, you know, OB, like I'm not an expert on PCOS, but as it relates to the mental health side of things, PCOS definitely does make things more difficult. And I can see how it can make life harder if you already have ADHD and anxiety. And Trisha's virtual appointments is the best thing. So, Trish, for me, I actually like virtual appointments because, like, you know, like I would have patients in Arizona and wherever, and I was able to help people out in that area with me being in California. So I liked it, but I also did miss you know, like in person interactions, right? Uh, Addie, I had a good day, and I'm happy that made your night. I'm happy I caught that comment too. And Desiree says, I keep having problems at a grocery store. I freak out with so many people around me. I get hot and frustrated. Is there any way I cannot feel like this? So Desiree, once again, I would start with, because if you felt overwhelmed going to the grocery store, the like what's the likelihood that you'll go to the store again tomorrow? You probably won't go. You'll probably just be at home, and whether you're isolated or not, you might just do an Instacart or DoorDash because you're like, I don't want to deal with people. What I would say is you got to practice, right? So if the grocery store is too much for you, try the gas station. Try going to the gas station to see how you feel. If you start to get like, if you start to freak out, take a step back. Maybe start with the neighborhood, but you don't want to like put too much on yourself all at once. But I definitely relate with this. Like I've been to the grocery store like 6 times all year, and when I tried to figure out why, I'm like, I think I get a little anxious. I don't know why. Like I love people, but sometimes there's no explanation for why we feel the way we feel. And Chantel is also a so who here doesn't like going to the grocery store? I'm just curious. Like who doesn't like going to like I mean I like getting the food and like eating the food, but I'm not a big fan of going to, Ralph's or Kroger or, whatever grocery store is out there. 9% of the time. So Alicia doesn't like the grocery store. Facebook user Melinda doesn't like the grocery store. Shay. All right, so I know a lot of people do not like going to the grocery store. Kelly says, "Me, I get overwhelmed." Oh wow, yeah. So same here. And the reason why I get overwhelmed is because I go to the grocery store and I'll pick up milk and I'm like, all right, I need laundry detergent now, but I don't know how to get like I don't know what aisles the stuff is on, right? And then like if I'm trying to cook, I'm like, I don't know how to cook. I don't know what ingredients. I'm like, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna call my mom? Am I gonna call my ex-girlfriend? Like I just feel like I'm left on the island and I don't know what to do. So I just, to be honest, I just Instacart. But I challenge myself to go to the grocery store and pick out some candy or I don't know something. Uh, I'm a huge extrovert. I like shopping. Shopping is fun. Shopping is fun. Used to be my favorite spot. Oh boy, it gives me anxiety. Yeah. So a lot of people, yeah, Molly. I didn't know it was a common for a lot of people, but yeah, I love grocery shopping. But this is funny. The customers without the kids, I can understand because the kids get in there, and the kids want to get the brightly colored cereals, and like when I was a kid, I was asking my mom to like pick up all the cereals, and my mom was like, "All right, we have Wick, we can only get Kicks, we can't get the other cereals." So I was like, I used to look at the other cereals like, dang, like I wish I could eat those cereals, and I was a kid, so I just sometimes kids don't get it. Like I kept bugging my mom, like, Mom, can you buy that one? I didn't understand how Wick and food stamps worked. I try to go on Sunday mornings. Oh, yeah, that might not be a bad idea. Going to a grocery store when it's not like as packed. I don't mind people. It's being overwhelmed by all the food. Oh. Let me go ahead and give Laura a love the show because I can really relate to this. I gotta give Laura love the show. Yeah. Sometimes there's so many food choices. I'm like, which one do I get? And all these different pastas and ragu sauce. You know how it is. It's quite difficult. All right. So let me reply back to my yes, you can still send an email. My publicist says, oh, we have over 300 people on Discord. That's awesome. So we have over 300 people on the Discord. I'll check the Discord a little bit later. I don't want to get too distracted, but Discord is free, so you all join if you want to join the community. All right, the third thing that can worsen your mental health. This is very important, and this is why therapy is it can be a game changer. But before we get to this, let me talk about this. I need so Brett. Look, when the Titans game is on, the reason why I love football so much is because like I stay emotionally even at all times. But during a football game, I don't have an answer for you, Brett, because I'm gonna be jumping on the couch. I'm gonna be jumping on the bed. I'm gonna be screaming. When we score a touchdown, like I'm just like a little kid. But hopefully we beat the Colts. We won 4 straight against the Colts, so hopefully we win. Hopefully we win. Before I talk about unresolved trauma, what's Discord? So Discord, Lindsay, I'm still learning about Discord, but it's an app where so can somebody explain Discord? It's like an app where you can stay connected with people, and you have like these different channels. It's a really cool app. I think it's a really good way to stay like connected with a community, And I want to have everybody from Facebook. Like there's so many people that I would love for you all to meet. And it sounds weird because you might be in Oklahoma and they might be in Texas or Florida. But what you'll learn with this community or with the people who choose to follow me is that maybe somebody saw me do the little dance, right? Or maybe somebody saw me do the ADHD tips, or maybe somebody saw whatever video. But there's certain things that bring people to want to follow my channel. So if you follow my channel and somebody else follows me on maybe on TikTok and you follow on Facebook, y'all probably have a lot more in common than you have things that are that separate y'all. So getting on the Discord and meeting people, sometimes I learn stuff from y'all. People leave tips in there. Sometimes people will leave like an ADHD tip. I think I watched a video about an ADHD tip about one way to be productive is to put your shoes on. To put your shoes on. So now I'm sitting here. It's 7 o'clock here in California. I'm at my house, but I got my shoes on. I'm gonna show y'all so y'all know I'm not like I got my shoes on. I got my shoes on because it just makes me more productive. Like I feel more productive with my shoes on. Like I'm about to go somewhere. And I learned that from somebody put it online. So the same way that I leave these tips on here, I'm learning as well, right? So I think we can learn a lot from each other. And Discord seems to be a great way to do it. So I'm excited to see how big the community gets, but how impactful it is. That's more important. The Discord, the link is called Dr. Coder's Online Family. Leilani, is there a way that you could drop the actually I'll drop the actually right here. Boom boom boom. So this is the Discord link. There we go. I'll leave the Discord link in here. And while the Discord link is here, I'm going to talk about the third thing that can worsen your mental health, right? So the third thing that can worsen your mental health is unresolved trauma, right? This is important for a couple of reasons. Let's start with childhood, right? So when we were kids, all of us, when we were kids, certain things happened to us during our formative years that shaped, us and helped us become the people that we are, right? Some amazing things happened to us, some okay things, and some traumatic things, right? The traumatic things that happened to us, depending on what it was and depending on what happened to you, it's difficult to talk about those things, right? Because depending on the nature of what happened, it might be weird sharing it with somebody else, right? But when you don't share that stuff with like a therapist or, you confide in a friend, when you don't talk about those things, the trauma follows you like a shadow, right? Like your shadow never really leaves you. Like you can never outrun your shadow. I feel like trauma is the same way, right? If you've been through significant trauma as a child, sometimes you forget that you're traumatized until you become an adult, and then you're in a relationship and you realize that you have a hard time standing up for yourself, or you have a hard time, speaking up and enforcing boundaries because as a child you weren't given a safe space to talk or express yourself, or you didn't even know that you had a say in the matter because maybe your parents were like, oh, we're the parents and you're the kid, or maybe it was emotional abuse or physical abuse or sexual abuse. All of these things, when you don't work through it, can really damage your mental health. And that's why, we say therapy is helpful, but just also a community, because you don't want to feel like you're the only person going through a certain thing, right? If you're in a circle of people, right, and you've gone through, let's say, emotional abuse, right? I post the gaslighting videos, right, and some of those you all have really connected with it. If you've been through emotional abuse and gaslighting, right, and you don't have any friends that are talking about it, right, and you're talking to your friends, you're like, hey, have you ever been in a relationship where your partner made you question everything, and you felt like you were stupid, or you felt like you couldn't remember things, or you just felt like a useless human being? If you tell it to your friends and your friends are like, I don't know what you're talking about, you're gonna feel like you're the only person who's going through that thing. And there's nothing worse. Well, there's worse things, but going through something all by yourself or feeling like you have to is an awful feeling. So that's why community is important. That's why therapy is important. That's why sharing experiences are important. That's why entertainers are important, right? When your favorite athlete or whoever comes out and says, "Oh, I've been struggling with body dysmorphia since I was 17," then you're like, "Oh my gosh, so and so was so pretty. I didn't know this person struggled with it," but it makes you feel a little less alone, right? So that's why, we talked about isolation and how that can be harmful. But the same way, the unresolved trauma, it's good to talk about things so you can get through it, right? Because I don't want the trauma to follow you like a shadow for the rest of your life. Because, like, right now, we're in the present moment, right? It's October 20th, Thursday, unless you're in like the Philippines and it's Friday. But regardless of the matter, we're in the present right now, right? And we're responsible for our lives in the future. So we have to figure out how can we set ourselves up for success. And one good way to do that is by talking and working through trauma, especially if you're somebody who, if you're not married right now, I'm not married. I hope to be married one day. My little joke is that I need a wife with ADHD who understands what I'm going through, who can also show up late to places like me. But like, I do know that, and that's why you have marriage counseling and therapy and things like that. No, but I do know that if you're single and you want to enter into a relationship, like, therapy is, I can't call it mandatory because I can't tell you what to do, but it's a really good idea. It'll help you learn yourself better. And then you can explain to your partner, hey, I have ADHD, so this is why I get grumpy on some days, or this is why I get moody, or boom, 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 or I get depressed, so I need help cleaning the house, right? It's good to know yourself, right? So with unresolved trauma, being able to work through it, you're going to liberate yourself of a lot of dead weight that you're carrying on your back for no reason. Like, you don't have to carry all that dead weight, right? And until people came along and told me, hey, Kojo, you don't have to like put this all on your back. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I don't. And like, I feel lighter on my feet. Let me see. Alone doesn't help when people say they had it worse. Well, Jevin, you're right. Well, those are people that, not that you should cut them out, but spend a little less time with them, because they're trying to wrap you up in the pain Olympics. Like, oh, who had it worse? We had it worse. No, they had it. No, it doesn't matter who had it worse, right? Just acknowledge the fact that, hey, like, your friend should say, Jevin has been going through a hard time, and leave it right there. They don't have to be like, oh, well, 4 years ago this happened to me, and then like, no, like, things can happen to you and it can be bad, and things can happen to them, it can be bad as well. So I wouldn't, like, I'm sorry that was your experience. I'm late to everything. Nah, I'm late to everything as well. Like, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out some tricks to get on time. I might start changing my I might I don't know. I might start altering the time of certain things, or I lose iPhones. I used to lose iPhones easily, so now I have got 4 iPhones. Literally, like, this is real life ADHD. This is my life. Yeah, I got 4 iPhones, right? Like, these are my, this one of them is dead, right? These are my 4 iPhones. So maybe I can switch the time or something to make it look like the time is ahead, or maybe do that in my car. I'm gonna figure out something, because I've been late for everything like 2 weeks straight. So I gotta figure something out. Late or 30 minutes early. Right. So, Kara, you're right. Like, yeah, some of us will never get to a place like on time. Like, you're either super early or like you're fairly late, you know. Nell says, what's your opinion on time heals all wounds? Ooh, this is a good question. Ooh, this is a good question. So, I like that phrase. I like the phrase "time heals all wounds" because it allows you to be patient, right? And it allows you to let things settle. Sometimes you just have to let things settle. No, so there is some truth to it. But if you if let's say you were assaulted, physically assaulted, or sexually assaulted, right? I'm thinking of like really bad things. If that happened to you, I wouldn't say, "Oh, I'm so sorry that happened to you. Time heals all wounds. I'll see you in 10 years." No, like, I would like for you to like talk to somebody and really work through that, because like that's a traumatic event, right? So time heals all wouldn't work for that. But in general, I do like time heals all wounds, because sometimes, let's say going through a breakup, and you're telling yourself, man, like that's it. Like I will never find somebody like this again. Like I can never find love, and like you're down on your luck. Then saying, oh, time heals all wounds. Okay, it allows you to be patient, but we can't put that for everything. Um, or I wouldn't say that we should put that for everything. Grief is grief. No one should put it into the category. Lisa, I agree with you. Look, yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't do it all alone. Let me get some of the comments. Yeah. Holloway, the Pay Olympics, and I've been a part of this before, where I'm like, no, I went through this. I experienced this or that, or discrimination, or racist, or whatever, and that's a valid. Whatever I experienced was valid, but you don't have to be like, all right, I had it worse than you. You had it. I used to do that. So now I don't want to do it again. So Marilu says, I'm afraid to tell my friend that I have all these issues. Also, Marilu, this is what I'll say. A lot of times you could open up to your friend, and your friend could open up to you and tell you about what they've been going through. And for me, I like relationships where I'm hanging with my friends and we can be transparent. Like I could tell my friend what I'm struggling with. But there's certain friends who I don't tell them everything. Like how some people can be, but it's good to have maybe a couple of people in your corner that you can be upfront with, right? Because then you can be your most authentic self. If you're not able to express who you are as a person, you're always gonna feel like something is missing. Like you're like damn, like something should be there, but it's not there, right? All right. Let me see what Joshua said. The worst feeling I find is being smart enough to know what I have to do to get through the trauma or events currently plaguing me. It's a lifetime of trauma buildup, and I'm tired. I feel like it never ends, and I'm exhausted from dealing with the stuff I'm working through. All right, let me talk about this for a second, and then water break. But don't drop the magic word just yet. Let me talk about this. So what Joshua saying is actually really real. So when you're aware of the fact that you have to fix something about your life, uh, but you don't know how to go about doing it, and you're tired of feeling that way, it's a really it's an awful place to be in, because you know that you got to make a change, but you don't know how to make the change. So you're just kind of stuck in that like purgatory, and you're like, man, this is just a shitty feeling, right? But I don't want you to default into the helpless role. Like there is something you can do, and you gotta start small. Right? You have to learn how to celebrate the now, and nothing wrong with that. Figure out what's going on right now in your life that you enjoy. How can you capitalize on that, right? And what don't you like? And it may take years to do this, or months, but slowly try and like remove the things that you don't enjoy, or things that are what can you drop right now in your life that's not serving you? You know, Actually, that's a good question for everybody right now. I have that question. What can you drop right now in your life that's not serving you? And I'm gonna do my best to answer it right now too. What can you drop from your life right now? Something that's not serving you. Deep. I gotta think about. I gotta think about my answer. I'm not sure what it would be, but like I know it's got to be something. I know it's got to be something. Um, what can you drop right now from your life? Something that's not serving you. Uh, Andrea says shaming myself. Oof, I like that. Material things, too many. Oh, I like that. Um, and did something happen up top? I didn't see. Uh, it's lost. Oh, and I just saw this. Very sorry for your loss. And with grief, there's no timetable on that. Like, don't let anybody rush you. Leilani says she would drop mom guilt, waste book. I'm not sure what that is. Teresa says she would drop a person that always hurts my feelings. Okay, negative thoughts. That's close to mine. Feel off is what I would drop from my life. I just dropped mine in there. Being fueled off of negative energy is where I would drop from my life, because I used to use like a negative event and I would use that to motivate me. But now I'm working on being kinder to myself. Ryan says that drop the past. Lindsay would drop things I don't need, so I have less clutter to clean up and mom guilt. Okay, yeah, dropping those two things would make you feel better about yourself. Sasha says toxic people respect guilt. Mm. Katie says hustle culture. Yeah, yeah, I know about that. The material clutter. Okay, so there's a lot of clutter. I mean, hey, I relate to it too. I have Uno cards here at my desk for some reason. I don't know why, but keeping up with the Joneses. Oh, this is key right here. You can save a lot of money when you're not worried about trying to impress people that you don't necessarily even like. Molly would drop the constant overthinking on my past. Okay, yeah, that would help you be much more present. Coping habits is awesome. Danielle would drop not thinking I'm enough. I like that. Daily bad habits. I'm currently dropping caffeine and smoking. Respect. Awesome, awesome. Uh, and let me see what else people are saying. If I could free myself from guilt, that would, yeah, yeah. And look, Laura, if you were able to free yourself from guilt, yeah, you're right. You would relieve a lot of anxiety, and it would be natural. Like that's the best way to address an issue, like naturally, right? And I'm still a big supporter of antidepressants and anxiolytics and Buspar and all these wonderful things that we have for anxiety. But if you're able to relieve yourself of the anxiety by doing this, then right, the less meds, the better, right? Even though I do believe in meds. Kat Schaefer says she wants to drop weed smoking. Respect. Amy says she wants to drop feeling guilty for accommodations need. Ooh, this is a big one right here. Yeah, and look, dropping this would be so helpful because look, Amy, the ADHD is not going anywhere, right? Like it's just not going. That's just how your brain was formed. It's not going anywhere. So this is you learning to accept yourself. So give yourself. I love the show for that. People pleasing to avoid. Ooh, I like that. I like that to avoid boundary conflicts. Yeah, and this would help you once you drop the people pleasing. It will help you stand up for yourself more. The what ifs. Ooh, I like that as well. 42 minutes. Oh, can somebody drop in the magic word? Lack of self confidence and the feeling of being unworthy. That's a good thing to drop. Other people's opinion is. I've said before. Other people's opinions of you is none of your business. So that's a great thing to drop, April. Same thing with Jackie. Worrying about what people uh, think of you. Others' expectations. Yeah. Numbing out to avoid feelings. Awesome, awesome. Negative people. Just like Imagine Dragon song. No time for toxic people. What song is that? I'm not sure what that um song is. Somebody would drop body shaming, expectations, suicidal thoughts. Wendy, my heart goes out to you. But if you're working on dropping that, you gotta give yourself some credit. We spoke about suicide and on an earlier stream and about how some people just have chronic suicidal thoughts. And I want to thank Facebook and Meta in general for allowing me to talk about these things without like flagging or striking down the videos and helping myself before I help others. Ooh, that'd be good. And he drops cigarettes. Yeah, Kendra, cigarettes are hard to. Yeah, these things are hard to quit, right? So if you go from 2 packs a day to a pack and a half, and down to 1 pack, and you smoke that for a year or two, you have to give yourself credit. It's still progress, right? Cheers, cheers, cheers. We got cheers from Leilani, cheers from Kendra, cheers from Danielle. All right, this is time for the water break. This is time when we get ourselves hydrated, and it allows us to relax and get some water in. So it's time for the water break. I got my a small little water bottle that I can fully drink. Of course I got the spicy water here, but we're gonna go with this for today. So cheers. Water break is very, very helpful. All right, let me reply to like 3 more comments before we end. Mercury Act 1 and 2. Oh, okay, wow, is that a new album? Hmm. Uh, yeah, I gotta check it out. Put it in the Discord. I probably won't check it out now, but somebody may check it out now. Let me know the best song from that album. I haven't seen that, but did you discuss active versus passive? Arena, no, no, I did not. We didn't get that. Actually, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but just real quick, so, like an active, like there's levels to it. Like you have like a, suicidal thought with like intent and plan, and that's when like we worry, oh, this person's about to like carry this thing out, and then you have like chronic, passive suicidal thoughts or thoughts of, oh, I wish I wasn't here, so that's why it's important to give people a safe space to talk about it. And then also once you get to a point where somebody has an active thought with an intent and a plan to make sure that they're safe. If there's a firearm around, get it away, and if you can get them immersion help, things like that are very helpful. Guilt over superficial issues and overanalyzing everything. That's what Sean would drop. Yeah, I respect that. I respect that. And Josh, you realize help put me in the tree, hoping to become a social worker. Hey, gotta give Josh a love of the show right here. One of the best ways to help yourself is to help people. And Josh, I think that could be very beneficial for you. All right, let me see. How would you deal with toxic friends throughout high school? All right, all right. So I'm gonna answer this, and let me answer this first. So, Katie, my app, groupthink, has not come out yet. I'm waiting for it. Like, I wish it was ready yesterday. Like, the app should have been out, but you have to fix issues here and there. But like I have ADHD as well, so I'm impatient. I want the app now, and I put a lot of time and energy and money into it. But like, it'll come out shortly, and I'll let y'all know for sure. I'll let y'all know for sure. All right. How would you deal with toxic friends throughout high school? So, Kayfabe, what I would say is high school is temporary, but the rest of your life is the rest of your life. I would say sometimes you may have to be, in class with them or do a group project with them, and that's fine. But the less time you can spend with them, and the more time you can spend with people who are actually positive, would be very helpful, right? So whoever is toxic in high school, just mark them in your head mentally, and just do your best to spend a little less time with them. Maybe in third period you sit somewhere else because they're gonna complain and put a negative energy on you. So those small things, I would do that, and it's a good life skill to learn because after high school, when you start working or when you're in college, you're gonna run into more people who could be quote unquote toxic, or maybe they're people who are just trying to deal with their own healing journey, and it's coming out toxic to you, but regardless of however it's coming out, like it's good to just kind of separate yourself, and keep that energy over there and wish the best for them, and just you stay over here. All right, Melissa, very sorry to that you went through this. I saw that, and getting rid of the blaming yourself for this would, I think, allow you to feel a lot better about yourself. Let me answer this real quick. DP student here. Hey, Morgan, what's up? How'd you manage stress and anxiety at school? How did I manage stress and anxiety at school? It was tough because I was also working and trying to help our family, and like I was trying to like pay for stuff for my grandma, and it was tough. I working out. I didn't work out as much as I wanted to, but working out was very helpful. I'll go play basketball, listen to some music. Whenever I'm upset, I listen to Eminem. I don't know why. Some people like to listen to, I don't know, Lana Del Rey or something, but I would listen to my music, and I would just kind of like zone out and feel better that way. And also when I was in school, that's when I got diagnosed for ADHD. I got diagnosed with ADHD actually, so incorrectly. But yeah, I got diagnosed with ADHD. So, like I went through my journey where I was like, I feel like I have ADHD, boom, boom, boom. So I went to go get professional help. So going to get a doctor and going to get meds. So to answer your question, the most helpful thing for me that helped me get through school as it relates to stress and anxiety was getting ADHD medications. But that's because the majority of my issues came from me like not being able to get my work done throughout the week, so I'll put it off to the weekends, and I kept putting it off the next week, and I was behind on stuff. And then, I'm trying to do stuff for the family, and they're like, "Hey, coach, we need you to do this." And then the teachers are like, "Oh, you're behind in your work." And then I look there, and then my friends don't understand what I'm going through, or the girl I'm dating at the time, she's like, "Oh, you have to cancel date night because why?" It's like the second or third week in a row. So like I didn't really have a choice. I was like, all right, at this point, like it's just time to go see a doctor, right? So going to see a doctor and getting on the ADHD meds allowed me to go to the hospital. It allowed me to go to the library, and I would go to the library and I would pull out my laptop and I would start studying. But before that, I would go to the library and I would open up my laptop and I would watch football highlights for like 3 4 hours, and I would see my friends and I would go talk to them and I would laugh with them, and I would leave the library without doing any work, right? So when I got on the meds and I was like focused, that was how I uh, that helped out a lot with stress and anxiety. So Eminem was my go-to. Yeah, yeah. I mean, but it's like old Eminem, like the old Eminem where he says a lot of words that we should be saying today. Uh, but yeah, all right. Let me see. Dropping things. Calendar. Okay, all right. I gotta get some emails and some things. All right, but y'all, I gotta dip out. But this has been a good live stream. Today's Thursday, so that means that we won't have another show until next week, Monday, the breakfast show on Monday. But I'm not traveling this weekend. We may have a gaming stream or a bonus show sometime later. Especially as there's so many questions that I'm trying to answer. So we will have a stream on Monday for sure. That's the next one. But before that, we may have a gaming stream because those gaming streams allow me to answer a lot of questions that sometimes I just can't get to on the normal streams. But thank you so much for your attention. Daniel, have a great weekend. I hope y'all had a good week so far. I hope y'all got the trash out. And until the next live stream, I will see you all later. But also, don't forget that the Discord is there. So click the Facebook post that I made like 2-3 hours ago, and then like my comments should be there with the Discord link. So hope to see you all there. And until then, peace.